Hello everyone, I'm Paul, and today's project, basically what I have to do is I have to change all the fencing in my garden. The big issue that I've had with my fencing, I've used snow fence and construction fence, and the big issue is two things. One, you can see down here on the bottom, well, it's kind of hard to see, but it's been chewed apart here by rabbits. The rabbits have been coming in here over the last year, and they chewed through this fencing. This is kind of a snow fence, and this one's kind of construction fencing. They're both, this one's a little bit stronger and a little bit better, but what was happening, the rabbits would come in here and chew. So the next problem that I was having as well is that this stuff is just deteriorating from the sun. Like, it's just ripping. Look how easy I'm just tearing the fencing here. So the sun has really pounded, it's just all crumbling. So you can see just over here, I've got the rolls of fencing. And on my garden here, I had the fencing for this type of fencing going right around. The reason why I used this in the first place was two things. I had a bunch of it on hand, and I just kind of wanted something really bright orangey that kind of highlighted where the garden was, easy to see. I can see from a distance at night, whatever, I can see the difference between the background, if there were deer around it or if it was the fencing. So that's the first thing that I had done. The next thing, as you can see here, basically there's a bunch of holes. There's no more fencing. When I put the poles in, I did two types. I did wooden poles here. I did some cedar post, and for the second type of post, I put in these T-posts or T-bars. And the reason why I use T-bars and a mix of them, for two reasons. One is basically I had a few T-bars. They're a lot easier to get pounding in the ground. That's the first reason. And the second reason why I've got it mixed up here is because I only had so many of them, so I had to go with cedar posts as well. I didn't want to go out and buy them when I have all kinds of cedar posts. So the next thing I have to do, guys, is I've got to get onto the sawmill, and because what I'm going to be putting here, you can see for the new fencing, I'm just going to put chicken wire. I'm going to give this a try, but I know chicken wire is fairly flimsy, and I've got, for my dog, I've got a perimeter, I've got a lot stronger wire fencing. It's a lot more expensive. The chicken wire is very inexpensive, and it's just to keep the rabbits out, so that's not a big deal. And also I won't have the issue of it being sun damaged or degrading from the sun. So I have to cut a bunch of these rails, and what I plan to do is I plan to put two of them, one about this height here and one down a little bit lower. So I'm going to go into the sawmill and we're going to cut these up. We're going to do that a little bit later. I'm just going to explain a couple more things here, so stay tuned for me cutting these up on the sawmill. So the next thing that I did is I came into the garden after I removed all the fencing. What I had here is a bunch of raised beds, and with the raised beds, I just like the way they are for planting. I just find it easy. The only downside sometimes is the dirt washes off the top, but I had eight beds in here, but what I wanted to do was I want to put a ninth one in. And the other thing too is the ground in here, where there were so many weeds and stuff. So what I ended up doing is I ended up scraping all the dirt from one end to the other, and I pushed all the dirt to all the garden soil to the far end. And what I ended up doing is I stockpiled all the dirt up. So I made I don't know how many trips back and forth, but I got a lot of tractor therapy. It was fun actually moving the dirt back and forth. So anyways, guys, let's get out to the sawmill. Okay guys, we're over here at the sawmill, and just to my left here there's some 4-inch boards that I had cut previously. There's a little bit of wood supply here on reserve. I have a bunch of piles in different locations. So anyways, I'm going to grab a bunch of them and I'm going to cut them in half. So I'll have 2x1s. And I'm going to cut a bunch of them at once. So I need a total of 28 rails for the chicken wire holders. So basically I'm going to cut 14 of these in half. Alright guys, I got the little small batch here. We're going to lock them in and we'll give it a cut. Well, alright guys, I got a whole bunch of them cut up. Had a couple of them already up at the garden, so just going to take these up, scoop them up, and I'm going to bring them to the back, and we'll start getting the fencing on. Well guys, the one thing I had to do was, because the old fence was only coming down a certain distance and there's a bank here, what I had to do was I took the tractor there and I scraped away a lot of the dirt, pushed it so that I can get the fence in behind. Otherwise the fence would be too tall and would have to cut it all the way down. So now I'm just hand shoveling it to clean it up. It's I just got to make enough of a trench so that when I put the fencing, it'll go from the top, it'll go nicely down to the bottom. A little bit of work, a little bit more work than I thought it was going to be, but hey, it's all fun, good exercise. So guys, I'm putting up the rails. You can see around, I've got all the rails sitting there waiting to go up. They're 1 inch by 2 inch rails. They're made out of cedar, ones I just cut on the mill. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to drill a hole here on the end, and I'm just using a light gauge wire, and I'm just winding it around the post that I have here. I am going to have to stagger them because there's no way I can lock them into the post. And then there's going to be a log on the bottom that will hold everything down. So anyways guys, like I mentioned, I'm just going to drill the hole in here. Doesn't matter anywhere. So the next step that I do is I wind the wire around the fence post, and I'll just kind of show you that now. Just leave that there. So I take a piece of wire, certain length, doesn't matter, I'm just kind of guessing at what length I need just from the other pieces that I've done. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to wrap it around the post here, and I'm going to tighten it up. Now that I've got it tightened up, and as I mentioned, I'm going to stagger these rails. So this one I'll sit underneath it. And what I'll do is I'll pass this wire through the hole on the rail that I'm going to put in. Oh, got to grab it there. So I'll just pass it through the hole. And then once I've got it passed through the hole, I just line the rail up here. And then I just have to tighten the wire against the post. So I'm going to just continue that process all the way down. I ran out of the lighter gauge wire, so I have this reel of 12 gauge wire. It's a little heavier, but it's pretty malleable, so it will work quite well. It's 10 pounds, 400 feet, I think, about that. So more than enough wire I've got now. But definitely a two-person job. It goes a lot smoother, a lot easier if you've got two people holding pieces up and tying up and doing all kinds of little tricks. It takes quite a bit of time. So you're better off if you got a second pair of hands to help you out to get them to help you. So what I do here is basically I've got it already fastened up on the other end. So because I'm just working by myself, I just tie one end up, and then now I'm putting it level. Now I can drill my hole where I want to. This is basically where I'm going to pass the wire through. So I've got the wire here in my hand. So I've drilled the hole. I keep the level there. It's going to end up falling off by the time I start wiggling it around, but I passed the wire through the hole. As I mentioned, it's going to fall off. And then I just wrap the wire. I'm close enough to level. I don't have to have it perfect. This is just holding chicken wire. So, and it's not for aesthetics, it's for function. It's to keep the darn rabbits out. So then I just twist the wire up nice and snug. I always use the pliers to get it. Whoop, dropped it a little too much there. Use the bang it up a little bit. I know it did slip a little bit more than I wanted. So anyways, I just tighten it up nice and snug, so it's not going to be slipping down anymore. I don't like these metal posts very much. I do prefer the cedar posts that I have in the ground. They're not much nicer to tie around. The other thing too, you can see I don't have gloves, and I get little nicks and cuts. So yes, I should be wearing gloves. Too stubborn though. So anyways, yeah, it's pretty much level, just a little hair high, but that's fine with me. So anyways, I just make sure it's extra tight. The wire that I'm using here is 12 gauge wire. It's nice and malleable, so it's very flexible. It's quite easy to work. I like working with this thickness of a wire. I've done lots of fencing in the past, and what I'm doing today is not necessarily the best technique and stuff like that. I'm just trying to get this out of the way because I don't have time to do a real good job or anything like that. All I need is a job that's going to make this garden fencing functional, just to keep the rabbits out. Other than that, I don't care about the rest of it. I don't care about how it looks. It's only here to do a job, so just like me. Anyways, on to the next piece. The next thing that I'm doing is the chicken wire. So I'm just started it off. I started the first section there. I've got it tied all the way down, but not on each rail, just at the end post, and again just on the top rail. So I'm just going to go all the way down with the wire on the top rail only. Then I'll come back and I'll do each of the rails going down below. There is going to be a bottom rail. I just don't. That's the log here that's behind me. This guy here, going to be one on each, and that will keep it down so nothing can get underneath it. So anyways, guys, I'm just going to keep unraveling this, and then I'm going to fasten it all up. I've got a 150-foot roll here and to go around. Hopefully it'll be enough for what I need. And I won't keep you at this. All I'm doing is got the wire here. I'm just going about every, I would say about every 16 inches. I'm running a wire underneath, and I'm just going to fasten it here on the top. Just twist tie it, and then I go to the next 16 inch and the next 16 inch and all the way down, and then I'm going to come down and do each rail. That'll take quite a bit of time, so I won't bore you with that. Once this is done, I'll show you the next step. fencing's all up, as you can see, all the way to the back here. In addition to that, I've got all the garden beds in. I've got all top dressed with a nice compost and a nice black earth in there. So I'm just finishing up here on the one bed. What I had used for my compost, I brought a trailer load in. I've used 2/3 of a 6x10 dump trailer. So I've just got this last bed here to finish up. One thing that's really nice to get is all that fencing up. As I said, my main objective to put the fencing, or the rationale why I changed the fencing, one was deteriorating from the sun, the old stuff. And the second thing is to keep Bugs Bunny out. Lots of Bugs Bunnies around here. They like to come in here and just get into everything. So that's my main goal. Just got to finish this last bed, and basically the next thing after that I've got to do is I've got to finish, or actually not finish, but start planting. It's 27 degrees today, Celsius, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm really happy to have gotten my fence all in. I've got the opening here. I've got it all closed up. That's where I was coming in with the tractor on that side there. And I just have the gate here to put on once I finish. I don't put the gate until I'm completely done in here, because I'm going to bring the wheelbarrow in and out. I've got some plants that I've started and such. So I plan to get it all done tomorrow, all the planting, and after that I'm going to be eating some really good vegetables. So anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give it a thumbs up. You also could subscribe to my channel by hitting that subscription button down below. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Jellin Outdoors.